Hello, everybody from the Sunday night for Sunday Night Super Sled with the one and only John Cena. Wow, 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 wow.
All right, we are live in full effect. What is going on? Back with the Coin Vault crew. Of course, Big Rob back with you. Crux of Crypto. We got Maximus Crypto in the house, and of course, Rue Black and his whack ass crew. What's going on, boys?
Hey, I saw a comment from Tony. It says, Rue is black ass glue. Back connections, get that ass stuck like glue. That's how it goes. You know how this goes.
There you go.
So,
we get it.
Awesome. How's everybody doing on this Thursday, man? Let's go around. Rue, how you doing, buddy?
Man, chilling. Nice little day here in Scottsdale. Was on earlier with Longview Compute. Definitely check that out, guys. Some great information about Canton was given on that episode. It was a really nice episode, and happy to be on with my guys here.
You know, you're going to get sued by Charles soon if you keep biting his rhymes like that.
Maybe he'll give me some of that Cardano. I mean, he gave some Tim Draper. We'll see how that goes.
Max, what's going on, buddy?
Obviously glad to be here. I tuned in to that live. I actually watched the whole thing of Rob and Scott, so it was a really nice conversation. I would say you guys kept it really interesting, to say the least. But you learn some new things, and these two gentlemen do an excellent job of covering Canton, Zebec, you name it. So it was very informative and an interesting chat, to say the least. But glad to be here, and glad to have Crux here again.
Yes, I do.
Name's Rue, Scott. Just so people.
Yeah. So that was a good stream, by the way. I watched a lot of Canton and Zebec activity going on over there. The cool part about this, y'all, is we are 4 different creators. We do some overlap, but there's a lot of different projects that we are covering, and every single day, there's some content going out there. So you guys are in the right place.
Absolutely, and yes, I do take full credit for the live with Scott earlier today. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Max,
you accidentally said Rob instead of Rue. That's why I say that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sometimes it just kind of comes right out the tongue, like Rob and Rue, or I gotta work on it. So
you crushed all of Rue's dreams and goals in life. He's Benjamin, what's up, man? Ben J in the house. He says, Rue, get the midnight, not the 88. There you go.
That's a good suggestion. I'll go for the midnight.
Yeah. I think next week I'm gonna drop 2 different Cardano videos. One is Caspa versus Cardano, and the other is a deep dive. If I was given the keys to the kingdom, what would I do to fix Cardano? So definitely check those out. It's gonna be pretty wild because I have a lot of people that like ADA following me, and I gotta be honest, this is a tough one, so I might hurt some feelings.
That sounds awesome, bro. I'm going to tune in to both of those.
Going to crush some dreams. All right, so we had a pretty big Spaces today with Zebec. With they did a Spaces with World Liberty Financial. Primarily talked about their new partnership with tokenized GBP, which is a stablecoin out in Europe. And basically, so now they have regulated stablecoin out there, and just like in the U.S. with USDC and USD1 and RLUSD, they are making headway out there on the other side of the globe. What do you guys think about that? For me, we're seeing more and more mass adoption take place here for Zebec. They are spreading like wildfire.
Well, with Tether getting delisted in Europe, I think they're going to soak up some of that liquidity, be it with the GBP, or with All Unity stablecoin, or with Circle's Euro C. They're going to soak up. a lot of liquidity, I believe, there.
Something like I would like to address in regard to this topic. So, ironically, Rue, I got it right this time, Rue and Scott, when they were doing their live show earlier, a few people were asking about this question that you brought up for everybody, Rob, and that is, yeah, this whole thing with Tether moving forward. But, actually, shout out to us. We were like, guess what? This is something that's not talked about enough, and that is the regulated Tether, USAT. So when we talk about Zebec, when we talk about like Anchorage Digital, we know about even Anchorage Digital with integrations like XDC. So the way I look at it is when we put a lot of emphasis on compliance, well, what would be tapped into? Would USAT come to the rescue with that? Some people say yes, some people say no. And there's a lot of gray area there, but hey, at least the thing exists. And again, that is a regulated, compliant form of Tether. So, like Tether or not, they do have that. And is that going to be the wild card that they'll unveil more publicly on a national front? We'll have to see how it plays out. Crux, what about you? Do you think that could be a thing? Are you studied up on USAT? I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but anyway.
Mm-hmm. I'm not too studied up on that in particular, but Tether, I know earlier today, they just stopped creating their gold product. So they had a tokenized, Tether, they're a big company. I think they focus mainly on ROI, which is what I don't like. Because if you think about it, it's cool that, they have a ton of liquidity, but if you're going to stop creating your tokenized gold because the price of gold tanks, what would you do if Bitcoin or Ethereum or these other products tank and you have some tokenized variant of it? Or commodities in general. So Tether, I'm not completely sold on. I'm still more leaning towards Circle, but I think both of them are the most trusted and by far the clear winners in terms of stablecoin adoption.
There's another question that we should address on this topic, and I guess I'll start with you, Rob, real quick, since you brought this whole thing up. So people are also asking, like, all right, so if I bought such and such asset, in this case, whether it's BTC or maybe some altcoins and whatnot, what happens with my underlying asset that was paired with obviously traditional Tether, USDT? I don't know if it's you, Rob, want to chime in on that, but I thought I would address that because, again, even on the collab earlier with Rue and Scott, that was something that was asked.
Well, before we address that, can I go back to the previous question? Never forget that Donald Trump thanked Tether, right, once the Genius Act was passed, right? And like we did here on the Coin Vault, we made a lot of connections with Tether and the USAT, and the former leader of Tether is on like a Trump cabinet position, right? So I really think maybe they were told, hey, we want to put some liquidity into these stable coins. Seller got some stable coins over there. Just delist the Tether there. And, Tether's good. They'll be, they're widely used in Russia and China and all these other places. Now we want those Euro coins to get some liquidity. And this is the best way to do it. Hey, Tether, kind of fall on this sword a little bit for us, okay? Paulo is like, no problem. I'll do it.
I think that there's a lot of nuance to this topic, especially when it comes to Tether. The controversy around the company, obviously, for years, the refusal to get a legitimate audit and, that they're backed and all this stuff. Now, for me personally, the question I get asked all the time is, what is my go-to stablecoin? My answer, quite simply, is for long-term holding, it's Circle's USDC. For short-term trading, like DCENT or whatever the case might be, it's Tether, simply because Tether's paired with everything, right? But at the end of the day, yeah, long-term holding, it's always USDC. I'm with Crux on that. As far as, Tether, somebody had asked me that earlier today. Well, what if Tether depegs from $1? Well, technically they shouldn't. Technically they shouldn't if they're not full of it. But in saying that,
yeah,
here's the thing. I hear all the time, well, if Tether goes under, it's going to devastate the crypto market. Not really. you're just going to see a lot of that money, that liquidity, flow over to the other acceptable stablecoins. US Circle would get a lot of it, in my opinion, right? You'd see RLUSD. I mean, it's not like they can just shut off a switch and then everybody's money's gone from Tether. I mean, that wouldn't be that. The company wouldn't get away with that at the end of the day, right? There would be consequences for that. So there would, in my opinion, be some sort of a transition period where people could move over to Circle or RLUSD or USD1 or whatever. Not to mention the fact that Tether did create the stablecoin for the US. Now, that for me, that's just another red flag, because why do you need to? If USDT is completely backed 1-to-1 and you're fine, why do you have to create a stablecoin strictly for the U.S.? It's because the U.S. is putting in guardrails in place, and you actually have to prove that you're backed, and they probably can't with Tether. But if they make this other stablecoin over here, then they can back that one and get it audited by U.S. and they can just use Tether USDT, everywhere else. There's a lot of nuance to this topic, to be honest with you.
I mean, they're definitely a successful company. Like, they only have a couple employees, not like a ton of employees, and they make a ton of money through their fees. They're actually the biggest crypto company in fees, in front of Circle and then Canton Network. So they are leading the way. Bo Hines, he actually became a pretty big position over there at Tether as soon as he left, Trump's administration. So I think they're in there like swimwear.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was something that we obviously discussed on the Coin Vault when we got really deep into USAT, is referencing some of these people, Bo Hines, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, Rue's example, like, okay, I mean, obviously we're going to talk about Zebec a little bit more here in a bit, but again, World Liberty Financial, again, the whole plug to all of what we're talking about. So which switches in regard to stablecoin compliance would be the first to move? And it kind of feel like it's kind of like herding the cattle, as you would say, Rob. But in this case, it would be herding the cattle as far as stable coins, which one issued, or I should say collateralized or paired with your Bitcoins, with your Ethereums, with whatever altcoin. I mean, how many people have used, obviously, Tether to purchase, their favorite alt? I would say probably 90% or more of the people that are here right now listening. So we'll have to see how it plays out.
And I was thinking about this earlier. It kind of like segues into what we're going to talk about with ZBCN. Like, the coins that are going to extract the most value from stablecoins is stablecoin fees and all of that are where all the money is going to go. The coins that can extract the most value from stablecoins are probably going to be the biggest winners here and out, right? And the coins that are going to drive the most of that value to their tokens, i.e., like how Zebec says, hey, anybody who's using our payroll platform, use any stablecoin you want, but the fees are automatically going to get transferred to ZBCN. Mm-hmm. So we know value is coming from the stablecoin going into the ZBCN. Hyperliquid, they're buying back their token. So as people are using their platform, they're buying back Hype. And of course, Hype has ETFs on it as well. So I think we got to pay attention to that when we look at winners for the next bull run.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Max, did you have some, you said you had some stellar stuff you wanted to get into, eh? Before we get into it, I wouldn't mind hearing about that.
Max always has stellar stuff.
Max always got stellar stuff. You got some stellar stuff up your sleeves. He's like,
little double entendre right there.
I got short sleeves. I don't got the long sleeves going on. I mean, I still shake my. Everything all right over there, buddy? All right. So sorry about that. What I was gonna say is, kind of getting off track here. Yeah, there's a lot of stellar news. Okay, no pun intended. And it's worth pointing out. So for one, let's start off right here. Hold on a second. Give me a second.
While Max is doing that, actually, I'm going to touch again on the spaces that Zebec had earlier today. My walk away from that spaces was basically what I think Simon was stressing was the if we truly want to see, and you guys heard me say this before, mass adoption when it comes to retail in this space, or not just retail, even institutions as well, is we need a user-friendly system in place. It needs to be click and go, not just for retail, but for institutions as well. It's got to be a simplified process. I mean, and for those of us who've been around in crypto for a long time, we know that the process now for buying and selling crypto and holding crypto is a million times easier than it was, 6-7 years ago. However, it's still not good enough for your grandparents, for your parents at this point. So having that easy onboarding, and that's one of the reasons as you guys know, I'm so big on Swiftcoin, right? I love bridgers, man. Like this whole all-chain bridge, to be able to swap anything to anything in just a click, and they make it so easy, like just a convert dashboard where it's just, I want to move this many, and it's going to give me this many. Very simple. It's like using a calculator on your phone, right? And that's how user friendly all of these networks, all of these dexes, perp dexes, everything, they all have to be that simplified, in my opinion.
Agreed, man. And I think Zebec, I know they're moving towards that with Privy, right? The Privy wallet will make it just really, really easy for people to use Zebec and Zebec's program. It would have to be for people that are looking to get paid real time. You don't want them trying to figure out a MetaMask or God forbid, like a cold storage wallet. But I think we're going to get to that too when we think about products like Metallicus, where they're going to be working with credit unions, right? We want the loans to be very, very simple for people that are getting blockchain loans with Metallicus. Like if they walk into a credit union, you want that to be kind of abstracted away from them.
Yep.
Yeah, some great valid points. This is a super chat came over from CoinVault. Thank you so much, BB Beast Mode 2030. Yeah, Beast Mode. With $10 super chat, we more than appreciate it. As the saying goes, kind of keeps the lights on, right? He says, thanks, Max, for Jasmine 2021. In reality, I didn't release that in 2021. If you're going to be technical, it'd be 2023, but who's counting, right? Thank you, though. Anyway, Deep Dive King. Appreciate that. Thanks, Rob, for ZBCN, right? 2024, 2025. I would say 2024, right? You went back a couple years. It's all right. I got to stop counting. I apologize. Thanks, Roofer Near in 2026. I think that one's pretty good. And then Crux for KTA 2026. We need more deep dives on this one. Thank you so much for recognizing that. We really appreciate it. Today, I had kind of a frustrating day, to say the least. I was trying to piece together everything that was unveiled in regard to addressing some misinformation in regard to Quant and Canton. And then I was trying to release the big bombshell on the Patreon. Huge discovery, because we know about Quant Overledger layer 2.5. I found a huge discovery in regard to the infrastructure and this common ground with Jasmine. Shout out to you guys. Check that out. But nonetheless, thank you so much for that. I want to highlight somebody who actually didn't drop a super chat, and I just would like you to maybe verify this, sir. And if you are the guy, I've been waiting since my channel started on December 13th, 2021 to see you again. But you might not be the guy, but you look very similar and you dress the same in the avatar. So it's the comment before BB Beastmo, Lee Drake, 3126. You said you guys are great. Thanks. I don't know if it's you, but you look very similar to the other guy. So there's this guy originally when I was covering Clearpool, and when I came out with my first video, like anybody with a new channel, you didn't get much views. And then the next day I saw this guy, and it was only one person that commented, and he's like, you don't know me, I don't know who you are, but I just want to let you know that I found a value with your content, and I hope that you continue to make content because you're very good at it, and I learned some things. And it planted that seed inside me where I said, you know what, if I was able to reach one person, I'm gonna stick it out. So if that is you, which I don't know, from the bottom of my heart, I just can't thank you enough for finally seeing you in the comments. I could be wrong, but I just at least wanted to acknowledge that.
Very nice, very nice. That's amazing. I also wanted to obviously acknowledge Underdog in the house, of course. The crypto vault never freaking sleeps. I mean, each of you have a complete dedication to your craft. It's impressive. Truly motivates me. See, thank you so much, Underdog. I appreciate you too, man. I appreciate you too, my guy.
Yeah, and a formal invite. It's been a while. I remember doing some collabs with you and Rue. So if you ever would like a formal invitation, you're more than welcome over here to do that.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
And of course, we got Shook Focus in the house, my guy. What's happening, man?
Good to see you, Shook.
Big Kev dropping that cheddar, 7 herbs and spices. He says, "Hey crew, it was kind of cool. I paid for dinner last night with my ZBCN card. Banks are the past." There you go, man. Debanked, my dude. Bankless. That's what I like to hear, man.
Good to see you, Kevin.
All right. So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of go through the chat a little bit and see if there's any questions. I'm not seeing any right now. So, Max, fire away, brother.
Well, absolutely. I'll do my best to, provide you guys just the quick updates, not do so much the whole thing of like, this connects to this and, long-winded deep dive or whatever the case be, right? You could get plenty of that on the recording and whatnot. So I definitely want to give you some of the brand new big updates. In my opinion, it really is. I can't wait to see the natural reaction out of these gentlemen. It's something that we've been doing. And these guys like it and we get excited about it. So, I mean, what's wrong with having something to be excited about, right? So it may sound corny, but consider smashing that like. If we got to earn it, I think we will. All right, let's jump into this. It is from Stellar, okay? So let's pull this up. And, if you guys have been following me for a while, you know that Stellar with XLM is literally my number 2. It's not tied for number 2 with anything else, right? I mean, QNT and XRP are tied for number 1. Stellar has always been in its own category consistently for years, if you've been following me, all right? So right here, we have from Stellar, the official account on X, this announcement, just to give you guys a heads up. How long ago was it? It was earlier this morning, so again, a few hours ago. And we're going to highlight this. Cross-chain swaps on SushiSwap are now live for XLM and USDC on Stellar. See it in action. Now, some of you guys may think like, well, I already seen a little bit of this today. So what? SushiSwap, what's the big deal, right? Well, we're going to have a discussion about this, but nonetheless, cross-chain swaps, as you see here, are live on Sushi, XLM, and USDC. So we were just talking about stable coins earlier. I know sometimes people get bored with the stable coin talk. Rue and I know about that. Every time we did any piece on that, nobody cared, right? But XLM and USDC on Stellar are now available for cross-chain swap across 40 plus chains. And here's something I basically want to explain to you guys on why this is big. So please keep in mind, I remember back in the day, right? Maybe some of you guys remember this as well. When we talked about our journey, our crypto journey, when we're very, very early, like I make this joke, go back to Jersey, you bum. You're fresh off the boat of Robin Hood. You're wet behind the ears, right? Well, it's
get out of here, you bum.
Exactly. Right? There's probably a lot of that going on in New York right now with the parade that happened earlier. Shout out to all you Knicks fans, right? You waited 53 years for crying out loud to finally win a championship. But my point I'm trying to make is recognizing that, can you imagine if you had XLM as a pairing to buy your Shiba Inus instead of being early when that happened back in 2021? I would say right before April, before that big blast off, instead of being intimidated, man, I don't know. I don't know how to, how many people are like, I don't know how to use this Uniswap thing? Because you just came from Robinhood. It was easy. So the point I'm trying to make here is for you to understand that this is actually a very serious, big update for Stellar, because again, it's the bridge to more of this DeFi. And it's going to be a big win as far as liquidity. And I've been very consistent. Rob, CoinVault, all of us, whenever you have the enablers of liquidity, that is the real proving catalyst to actually drive price for the particular coin, token, et cetera, et cetera. I just want to point out to you guys that when you think about this, right, like other blockchains, whether it's Ethereum, Solana, you name it. Well, it was so annoying that you had complicated bridges, right? I don't need to give you a visual on this. I can just tell you this, right? It is intimidating for the average person that's new to this. Okay. So to me, this is a very big deal. Again, with some of those other ones, you have high fees, there's multiple steps. Again, sometimes people won't even go through all the steps because they're like, I give up, right? They want the automation and so on. So now, what's the difference? The difference is it's one click, right? I got my mouse here. I'm in front of my desktop PC. It's just one click. Most people use their phones. It's just one little press of your thumb or your index finger. But please keep in mind, this is all going to happen in the sushi app, right? Some of you guys are familiar with some of that. And again, Rob mentioned like he loves Swift blockchain. I love Swift blockchain. Rue as well. We hold Swift coin. We know about bridgers. We know about like literally 400 plus different integrations. Well, guys, even with Sushi Swap, whether you hold it or not aware of it, this means that Stellar is going to have these integrations with 40 plus other chains. So that does kind of give an element here of kind of like what you see with Swift blockchain, right? Big shout out to Underdog. Man, I mean, that guy's literally written the book along with Rue when it comes to, you know, all the underlying factors of something like Swift blockchain, right? But nonetheless, this is going to provide great liquidity routing, and it feels like it's like, again, kind of like Swift blockchain. You're swapping with another chain. In this case, basically Sushi Swap. Now, before you guys chime in, I just want to point this out, okay? So people are going to ask, what does it mean, Maximus, for me, right? What does it mean, man? I got the Stellar XLM. I don't know what to do about it, right? It's outperforming my XRP. Well, listen, just hear me out, okay? I understand where you're going with that. For you, me, and everybody else that holds XLM basically means higher usability. What do I mean by that? It means that XLM would become more connected to the rest of crypto. Again, kind of like Swift blockchain. We maybe look more into Swift blockchain, right? But people from other chains can now easily jump in and out of XLM. And again, that is so important because now you're going to do this without the friction. There's going to be more activity in Stellar. To me, this is a big win because of DeFi growth. This is something that is not mentioned enough when it comes to Stellar. A lot of times when I do my deep dives, I'm always like, oh man, you know, Bank of International Settlements. They mentioned in one of their recent white papers that you know, Stellar is literally the preferred choice, and all that stuff is bullish. Don't get me wrong, but last I checked, until we get to real true clarity, the real movers, by definition, whether people realize this or not, is retail liquidity. So now we have some of this. And again, it's just another example because you're going to have higher trading volume and money flowing through the network. Again, DeFi growth brings Stellar, yes, Stellar with XLM, because we always talk about USDC. It brings it to the bigger multi-chain DeFi world. So to me, I wanted to share this with everybody. I wanted to literally get into that. I have covered Sushi Swap a little bit in the past. I put more emphasis, obviously, on Uniswap. But what's next? Would a Uniswap be next? Could very well be. I have some other updates I'm going to get into in regard to Stellar. I have a little bit of XRP. I'm not going to dominate the space in this conversation, but I wanted to get that across to people. We need automation. Why do you think Rue and I are so bullish on things that are tied into Stripe? People want user-friendly access, period. And if you create that, then you have real liquidity coming into your space because you have created just that, automation.
Yeah, Sushi Swap has always been kind of an afterthought for me personally, but knowing this now, I might have to look a little bit deeper into it because lately over in the Patreon, I've been talking for probably 2 or 3 months now pretty heavily about Uniswap and how bullish I am on that for this cycle. Just had a decent run, and then today it dropped all the way back. It was like $3.60, and then it dropped back down to $2.93 this morning. Fantastic opportunity. I'm not just me personally, not financial advice, but Uniswap below $3 is a steal, in my opinion.
Oh, I would 100% agree with that. I mean, I've been in and out of Uniswap for years. It's been one of the best performers when it comes to like a nice swing trade. Shout out to Tim Shea. This is something that we've been covering literally since 2022. not all the time, but it's just been a terrific project. We also know that you have Uniswap V4. I mentioned this before in the past. Like, why is that so game changer? 99% saving on those gas fees. Again, I think you mentioned it, Crux. We have gone from the days of the stereotypical, like, oh, Ethereum super high gas fees. Well, it's still high, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely not high like it used to be back in 2021, 2022, entering into crypto winter. It's a night and day difference, to say the least.
Uniswap's one of those tokens that made the change to change the way it does its tokenomics. Instead of having the value flow to the Uniswap team, they're kind of having it flow more towards the token. Around about that same time, that's when BlackRock picked up a ton of them. So yeah, definitely agree with you on that, Rob. It's definitely good value, Uniswap.
Yeah, absolutely. Quick, I wanted to address Isaac here, dropping some cheddar again. He says, I would like to add to the pot. Thank you for all your time and research. Isaac, we love you, buddy. First Pokemon of the evening. Of course, we got to catch them all. So lick a tongue in the house. I appreciate you, my guy. Thank you so much. This one's for Max, a response to what you had said earlier. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, sir. You apparently have a secret twin brother out there, but nonetheless, I wish I would took a picture. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll just go back to that original video. That would be easy. It was the first video, but nonetheless, thank you for at least taking the time, and thank you for your nice compliments. Really appreciate people like you. Thank you, sir.
Underdog says that to you too, Max. Says, I agree completely. The marketplace is night and day different. There is also a hype model. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a real thing. One of the things I just feel as though that, like, it's the market drivers. We will see utility finally do its thing at some point. There's never really been a true utility run. I've said this for many years. And with that said, maybe this will ruffle some feathers with people. And again, I'm not trying to, that's not my mission, but I do recognize that, yeah, the 4-year cycle is still a thing, but what would disrupt that cycle? Okay. This is the first time that we're ever getting to that finish line. Hopefully, like Rue was pointing out, that, we can have clarity by the end of the year. For me, I still go to the documents. I understand we could all have opinions, and I'm not butting heads with you, brother. And if we did, why would that be so bad? As you would say, can't friends talk it out? And, how many friends do I have? And same with you guys, right? Do you agree on everything? Probably not, right? You probably get a fight on over what video game to play, or what to have at your barbecue, or how many couples argue about what where they're going to go eat tonight, or
what they're on a pizza.
Exactly.
Put on a pizza.
Right.
Pineapple.
So
always.
But if it's us on the screen, oh geez, Anyway,
I knew it. I knew I was going to get somebody with that.
Yeah, it's like if we're on the screen, But anyway, I forgot where I was going with that, but anyway, you get the point.
D. Curry says, I'm a brokey. If I can't make the mill ZBCN, it's 500,000 good enough. Here's the thing, D. Curry. What I would say is that we all start somewhere in these cycles. And when I started, I have my full kind of story, my journey in crypto. I did a video for my Patreon community where I broke down my entire journey from start to finish. And I can tell you this, when I got started, I was a brokey, right? Cell phones getting cut off on a regular basis, trying to run a company with a cell phone that's getting cut off. And, it's a stuck state cycle, man. But what I did was and it's not financial advice, but to sum up my journey quickly, you know what? I took 10% of every check I made, every dollar I made, and I put it into crypto, and I pretended that money didn't exist. And that's what got me financially free in the end, right? Even if it was only $10, right? I was taking extra bouncing shifts at bars and stuff like that, nightclubs, and making $100 a night extra, doing that, 3-4 days a week, just so I could have that $100 to throw into crypto every day. And but it adds up in the end, right? If you're consistent and you're patient and you work hard, you don't have to be putting tens of thousands of dollars in it when you get started. Like I said, there was times I put $10 in.
It's a great testimony, Rob, man. Thanks for saying that, man. Keep building out here, guys. Yeah, like just keep making the pile bigger and bigger out here.
Really just got to get the process started. It doesn't matter if it's like $1 or $10 or $1,000. It's just that dollar was spent when it originally would not have been, and it's eventually through habitual traits you will begin to up your ante.
And we're cooking over here today, bro.
I want to leave you guys with this quote real quick. Maybe you've seen this movie, right? Bronx Tale. So Rob just mentioned and addressed a comment, right, in regard to like being a brokey, right? Obviously, people like Cobra Tate has made that expression of being a brokey pretty popular, to say the least. If you've seen the film, obviously, there's that famous quote about the tough guy, to say the least, right? The kid, I'll just make this real quick. It makes sense. The kid literally says to the De Niro character, he's like, the working man is a sucker. He says, it's better to be feared than love. It's nice to be both, but it's very difficult. But if I had my choice, I'd rather be feared. Fear lasts longer than love, right? Here's the exact quote about this whole concept of, broke. And to me, it's the journey. And that's what people fail to realize in this day and age. No offense. It is the journey. Rob is literally sharing with you guys his journey. We all have a journey, and this quote from De Niro says he's wrong. It don't take much strength to pull a trigger, but I tried to get up every morning, every day, and work for a living. Let's see him try that. Then we'll see who's the real tough guy, the working man. The working man's the tough guy. The tough guys are people like us. We're the real tough guys, if you want to be honest about it. We're the ones that had to, literally put the blood, sweat, and tears and all this stuff. I remember I used to work 3 jobs, 7 days a week. I used to joke around. Yeah, I used to joke around with Rue about that. Like, oh my God, you really know what you're tested. Like, you've been tested. So I know you joke around, my friend, about this whole topic of being a brokey, but you know what? You're going through what you're going through for a reason. And the way I look at it is God works in mysterious ways. He's gonna show you the path. Some people say like these technologies is that path moving forward, and it's how you go about it. So back to your question about your 500,000 ZBCN and like, is this enough? You're a brokey. Let me tell you something, and I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna move on. For me, this is something I tell to everybody in my community, and especially on the Patreon. I tell them all this one key thing, and you can mark it down, you can stamp it, you can share it with everybody. I would say literally 99% of people will focus on how much of the asset, in this case, a digital asset, that they need to own. But the reality is, if they have true conviction of the true utility of these things that we're invested in, to hold it, I know that sounds like an overstatement, to hodl, right? To actually hodl this to when you see full-scale mass adoption, you will have already beaten 99% of the people that, I hate to say, are going to paper hand some of these assets. So for you with 500,000 ZBCN, if you're going to be selling at a high price in the future because you truly believe it's going to streamline payroll and it's going to be a household name, then you already have won the game, my friend. Because if you compare that to the other person out there that's going to be selling ZBCN at 5 cents or 10 cents or whatnot, and has a huge bag, to say the least, well, guess what? Who would be the real true winner? Who would really truly be the quote unquote brokey? I'll leave you with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Underdog says crypto future testimony is real, but I didn't realize you were a bouncer. Rob the bouncer makes sense. RWA equals real world ass whoopings.
That's funny.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, absolutely. Like I know that so many, like I get asked all the time about it's, well, not asked about it, but it actually drives me crazy when I see somebody say to me, it's easy for you to say. That is like nails on a chalkboard to me. Like, bro, you don't know. I was probably worse off than you are right now when I got started in crypto. Like, hydros getting cut off, cell phones getting cut off and stuff. Like, working 4 jobs, bouncing, like dealing with people with guns and knives, coming into clubs. And, and you're telling me like it must be not, or it's easy for you to say now. Yeah. And you know what? Here's the thing. Here's the truth of the matter. I'm you. If you're patient and consistent, I'm you 8 years from now. Right? That's who you're talking to. Or it's who you could be. Or you could give up, get frustrated, get angry, and leave, and then you'll be in the same spot. Either way, that time's going to pass. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, a lot of people, they'll cope by saying that, like it's easy for you to say, but it's like at least there's something at the top, because the scariest thing is once you make it to the top and you made your millions or whatever, and then you don't have anything to rely on. There is no more dreams. You hit that dream that you finally went for, and at that point, it's like more money, more problems. And I'll tell you, from somebody who has made a good amount in crypto, there are problems that come with more abundance of wealth, and it's just part of the whole story. Just like Max was saying earlier, with like, he embraces the story. That's what you should be living for. Don't wait for 2029. We could go on this magical bull run. Bitcoin could be $300,000. We could all cash out at the top. Cool. But if you wait, 4 years, you will just miss all that time. So make sure you're paying attention in the gym. Make sure you're creating content or doing something that you actually enjoy, like playing games or spending time with the family, because life will blow right by you.
I remember the journey, many conversations in the kitchen with my wife over the years, and getting into some of these cryptos, and doing the research and talking to her about it, and so yeah, I mean, but those are memories that I cherish now. And while we were dealing with it and going through it, it was like, oh, this sucks. I wish it would just hurry up and happen. Yeah. But then when you look back, you're like, you know what? That was a fun journey. Yeah. That was a fun part of our lives.
Yeah, I'm so glad, what we're experiencing. I was actually thinking about what you were talking about, Rob. I was, a lot of times we're in our own little space, right? Like we give it our all, we create, we do our work. And then there's a time, whether we're driving down the road or laying in the bed for a few minutes or whatever the case be, where we finally have our own little private time of, and you think about things, right? And that was something I was thinking about. I was like, can you imagine that you just have this all handed to you, like on a silver platter? I said to myself, I was like in prayer of this, I was like, God, how would I be? Would I be the person that would prefer just the lotto ticket, win a ton of money, and just like, oh, everything's easy? A lot of people want that. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I buy a lotto ticket once in a while. But I also think about like how much more satisfying it is to know that you put in the work, you've done the research, you've done the grind, and then to get to that. To me, that's more of a sense of satisfaction. It's like this is our practice, if you will. This is the life that we have constructed, for at least for us, and for a lot of you guys too, right? Like you're literally putting in the day in and day out of working at, whatever job it is, or maybe, you're at a career that you're just burned out with, right? Like, I mean, I think there's some people here as we speak, right? You can relate to that, but it's the whole idea that, look, whatever the case be, whatever your story is, whatever your background is, that we have all came together for the most part, right? Like, we're not talking about a meme, but like memes do this. What do? They bring people into, they're community builders. I think with us, all our communities, whether it's Maximus Crypto, Crypto Future, the Rue Crew, Crux, the Coin Vault, clearly people are excited to see this. A lot of people are like, man, I already know XRP's use case. I already know Zebec's use case. I already know Stellar and Quant and Jasmine and Caspa and all this stuff. But they come every single day in the hope and dream that something is going to happen. And guess what? I'm betting on innovation. That's what's going to happen. I'm betting on the whole idea that at the end of the year, like Rue was pointing out, that we do maybe have that clarity. That was the point I was trying to make earlier. The point I was trying to make earlier is actual documents show that, yes, that will be the major driving force moving forward. It has to be. I mean, again, people say, XRP, man, I'm not seeing anything. This is driving me crazy. But all I do is I go like smoke, right? Like hopefully we'll collaborate tomorrow. He wants to get together tomorrow. I've shared this document in the past. The Central Bank of Indonesia. So I said this many times now. You probably get tired of me talking about Sagar Sabarhai, who used to be part of Ripple, then later on joined Fireblocks. He said, and this is almost the exact quote, all these people that participated from the Central Bank of Indonesia was like, Sagar, I love what you got with XRP. We understand the use case. We understand it's going to be absolute game changer. We cannot hold this on our balance sheet until we get like real regulatory approval and basically clarity. So it's order books. And again, when you look into Swift, everybody gets tired about Swift. What is Swift? In generally speaking, last I checked, they do a lot of things when it comes to order books. So moving forward, whether it's Canton with Swift or Ripple or any of this stuff, I think that's when you see the influx of this so-called central bank money, which, let's face it, I'm not a fan of central bank. But I can get behind the whole idea that they will move more money in one single day than Bitcoin will move in an entire year. And to me, that says something, That's the hope and belief that I'm buying on. And how does that play out? Again, how did it work out for Blockbuster, everybody? Netflix. How did it work out for Amazon, right? I mean, shout out to you guys who are from the 90s. That was class of 1999, baby. Represent to the fullest, okay? So with that said, I knew about Amazon in the late 90s. They were like, oh, this online bookstore. Good God. How many Hollywood movies are out there that are Amazon Prime and TV shows and so on? So there's a lot that's under the hood. And I feel like I'm going on a wild rant here, but
Joe says, is the consensus that Zebec will hit $1 within 8 years? I don't know about the consensus, to be honest with you. I mean, no one can really predict what the price of something's going to be 8 years from now. That's impossible, right? Would we like it to be $1 in 8 years? Of course. Does it have the potential to reach $1 in 8 years? I think so. But a lot can happen in 8 years, both good and bad.
I did a recent price prediction on Zebec on my channel. This was whenever it was closer to, I think, 330 mil market cap. And I put I think it was a 20 or 30X. I got to check the thumbnail. I released it 2 weeks ago and say it should get to about a 5 bill market cap, in my opinion. And I just compared it against like other cryptocurrencies that were at 5 bill from a previous cycle. So pretty interesting, but I do think Zebec has a pretty solid run ahead of itself.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying 5 bill this bull run, Crux?
Yeah, I think by 2029, Zebec will be 5 bill minimum. So
okay.
Rue's counting his money now. There you go. It's sitting there with a calculator in the background.
I'm not a TA guy, but I know my patterns. Yeah,
I'm not gonna dox Rue's Bay, but he's gonna be more than good to say the least. And yeah.
Indeed.
What you mentioned, brother, times we say $5, Crooks. My God. I mean, wow. Anyway.
Interesting question from Ben. Pick one to buy today for this cycle. Knight or Caspa? Same price. Thoughts? Well, I mean, might be the same price, but what are the market caps first? So Knight's market cap is 514 million. Caspa's is 839 million. So they're not that far off. They're not that far off in terms of market cap either. Now, for me, just based on community, I think I'd have to go with Caspa. I think the Caspa's got a better. A Knight is still very, very unproven. It's a new project. For all we know, Charles could abandon it tomorrow, right? I mean, I hold Knight. I like Knight, but I would heavily have to lean in favor of Caspa personally.
You took the words right out of my mouth. You don't even get a response from me. I'm in alignment with you on that.
Yeah.
Rue?
So
Crux?
Caspa definitely. I think so. What Caspa's doing, again, not to shill, but what it's doing is something different than almost every other crypto out there is doing. It is proof of work. We got to understand that, because all these other tokens, they can get launched on day one. Insiders could have 20-30% of the allocation, and they can dump at any time they want. So the only way to get around that is a proof of work network, like a Bitcoin or a Caspa. So since Bitcoin, we've had a lot fail. And some are still all right, I guess. You got like some forks like Bitcoin Cash or Litecoin. But Caspa has, in my opinion, added a lot more to the plate. And I always invest in first movers. So
I'm back. So you never know which one.
Whoa.
No, you're good. You're good. Let them go.
All right.
All right. You never know which one is going to go first. So I always pick to buy both. But if I were to like do some type of split, I probably split it more on the Night side than the Caspa side. Just because like some of the cross-chain things they're doing with Caspa, or with Night, also the zero knowledge proof technology. So I'd be slightly heavier in Night.
Oh, there you go. There you have it. So 3 of us chose Caspa, and Rue is wrong. So
always the devil's advocate.
I was like, I didn't even know you were frozen. I just thought you were just kind of sitting there, and then Crux is doing his thing, and he's just like, and I'm back, and here's how I feel. Like, whoa, all right, well, welcome back.
Yeah, they heard mine, and then they went to Rue's. Yeah,
that's all good. That's all good.
Someone came at us about Caspa in Scott's stream yesterday. Max, I don't know if you remember that or not, just about how great Caspa is and stuff. And I tried to explain to him, like, we like Caspa and stuff, and he was talking about how, because Scott asked the question, name me another project that when you hear privacy, you think of other than Canton, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with the exception, obviously, of privacy coins like Zcash or Dash or whatever, right? But and the guy in the crowd was like, "Well, Caspa." It's like, well,
no, yeah.
you don't. Yeah, you don't
thing,
hear privacy and think Caspa. That was the question, right?
So yeah. I mean, just yesterday I released a video basically saying every single like and comment that is dropped in this video, I will donate 1 Caspa token to the dev fund whenever we reach a new all-time high. And I'll do more videos like this. So I'm probably going to be donating quite a bit of money to Caspa, but it's because not only I believe in the network, but we are a fair launch network. There is no other way. There's nobody who's coming to save us. And that's why I think our community is so strong. And I'm not trying to become the face of it or anything, but to me, that's important. It's not like every other network out there. It is different.
You have to have that, because look what happened to Cadena.
Yeah, for sure. They've all failed. Everything is failing. Proof of work is so hard to create.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about privacy in a network. I would go with Near. Their Near Confidentials has been doing wonders for the network here recently. So yeah, I would kind of go with Near. I don't think most people would think about that as a privacy network, but it's doing some good things right now.
Yeah, so Canton, their programming language DAML is proprietary and it's built for regulation and privacy. So down to the core, like that network is pretty wild, and they've been kind of pushing since 2014. So I think I don't know if I can name a better large private network than Canton. Mm-hmm. And also, like, they're the biggest in fee revenue. So they're doing something right.
Blanc says, can Caspa break all-time high? Also, ZBCN TA, please. My opinion, yes. I think Caspa will set a new all-time high in this cycle. What was it, 20 cents?
22 cents, yeah.
22 cents. What do you think, Crux?
I mean, it's down 85%. Bitcoin was down 85% in its bear winter. I see a lot of similarities between those two projects. And Caspa, like, this is go time. In 2 weeks, we have something called the Takata hard fork, which really it adds a couple things. It adds covenants. It also adds Silverscript, which is a programming language that just easier to develop with. And at that point, again, it's go time. Smart contracts are here. Is the adoption going to come? Because they're going to turn into Cardano 2.0 if you created a good network with no adoption. So we will see. I mean, the proof's in the pudding, but the pudding hasn't been solved yet. So,
well, one bullish thing that I'll add to that upgrade coming, the Takata upgrade. You and I did a video where I butchered it. Is that right now we're not seeing Caspa's price run up. And for me, that's a good thing because we're not going to see a buy the rumor, sell the news type of a situation with Caspa when this happens. If the price was running right now, I'd be a little more concerned about a dump.
So when we look at like Satoshi's vision, he tried to create a peer-to-peer network where I can send my money to Rue, Rob, Max. I can send it to you without anybody getting in the way. And Caspa, on their mainnet, they did 5,500 TPS on a proof of work network. These are the type of things that have never happened in crypto. And also by DAG night, so Q3 of this year, it should be 25 to 40 blocks per second, which should increase the throughput by at least a 3x. So you're looking at close to about 30 blocks per second. You have a proof of work network. You're sending hundreds of transactions for a single penny, and you are rivaling Visa. So I don't know. To me, it's a beautiful design. It's a DAG as opposed to a blockchain, and that's why I would definitely separate them from that other project that you wanted me to compare it to.
Night. Was it Night?
It was not Night. I don't think. Actually, one person did do Night. Yeah.
Ben says, "Thanks, guys. Sold my Night in profit. Gonna turn it into Night.
I think you
Thanks for buying my bag, Rue."
Yeah.
Sold Night and okay.
Vegas Crypto. I don't know whose channel that is, Max.
Oh, that's on mine. Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah, Tia, it's so good to see you. It's been a while to say the least, and I'll never forget that email you sent me a while back, giving me some encouragement in regard to when I had to start over from the old channel. So of course I remember you. So thank you so much. It's been a while. As the saying goes, been a minute, and glad to see you here.
She's an OG.
She is an OG. I do have another news update I wouldn't mind getting into, if you guys are cool with it.
Don't sing it, bring it, buddy. Let's do it.
All right. So we said that, there was a few stellar updates. There's this other one. It was literally from the other day. I wanted to share this one as well, and you'll quickly understand why I feel as though it's a big deal. But actually, before we pull that up, there was another super chat that came in.
Benjamin says, Caspa. Yes. Absolutely, brother. I knew you meant Caspa when you said you flipped it into Night. Yeah, you flipped it into Caspa. Rue bought your bags.
Right. But thank you guys so much for the super chats. We really do appreciate you guys. We're going to jump into this. So this next one, like I said, it's from Stellar. And again, I think these are big updates personally. I'm going to get into quickly why they're big updates. So a lot of times when we see news updates, it's like, oh, this happened. Okay, so what? It's not a so what. So you have Centrifuge, right? Stellar reposted this.
Yeah.
Okay, so look at this. These two, right? They're kind of hard to pronounce, right? On Stellar, now available on Sushi Swap. So if you're just connecting, we covered the whole thing of Sushi Swap earlier. But here's the thing that I think we need to point out. So all of us, for the most part, we cover Canton, right? And when we talk about Canton, one of the things that stands out about Canton is obviously U.S. Treasuries. It seems as though when we saw some things recently in regard to Stellar and BTCC, like that was a big deal. And we saw that catalyst, the first time we saw a positive catalyst to send any project, on the upside as far as price action, right? Of course, Stellar had a nice pump. It was when that news came out with DTCC and Stellar sent Stellar with XLM. I think it was up for like 35% one day. And then overall on the weekly average, it was like 99%, almost 100%. Listen to me on this. Stellar users can access tokenized U.S. Treasuries and AAA CLO exposure through Sushi. Covered that earlier. One of DeFi's most established liquidity venues. Tokenization doesn't stop issuance. Assets need markets, right? So we kind of cover this, right? But here's the thing. Centrifuge. Now, one thing I discovered was that when you look more into them, they have pretty decent tokenomics, to say the least. And I won't make it this a deep dive. Trust me, I'm not going to do that. But from one thing I gathered was it's all about like recognizing your entry points and recognizing projects that could have another wave, right? I'm not personally invested in this, but this kind of caught my attention. I'll share with you a little bit more why this caught my attention. So only 4 months ago, this touched a little under 7 cents, right? So a little over 6.5 cents. And basically speaking, we're sitting right around 22.5 cents right now. Again, as far as tokenomics goes, we have roughly 82% in circulation, if you guys have been following me on Maximus Crypto, for me, my preference is a minimum of 70%. But I also I love ones that are like 80% or higher. Again, like your QNTs and so on. Now, again, I understand it's totally different tokenomics because, again, the supply, and just to show you real quick, we are dealing not with billions of tokens or anything like that, right? This is slightly under 700 million on that, right? So they got a market cap of basically 130 million. All right, enough about that. What's important to recognize is this right here. Centrifuge. Now, please hear me out on this. Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, Invesco, Jurgen Bloomberg helped build the ETF market from the inside. Okay. A while back, he joined Centrifuge as a COO, okay, and CIO of Anemoy Capital, okay, to lead the shift from legacy structures to regulated on-chain investment products. Now, when I saw this, I said to myself, even though this is from August of last year, and you may feel as though that this is old news, it seems as though that there's a strategic shift for both Canton and Stellar when it comes to tapping into this type of liquidity. And what I mean by that is basically like your Wall Street style of liquidity. Taking further into this, let's highlight an Anemoy or Anemoy. It says, before deciding to register with the BVI's Financial Services Commission, they evaluated 25 other legal jurisdictions. Again, this is 24, but hear me out. We are confident in this decision to ensure the most robust legal structure possible. Listen to this, seriously, for tokenized U.S. Treasuries, and we're happy to see BlackRock follow suit. So they have this whole piece on this. Again, I think it's definitely worth pointing some of this out. Now, fast track to where we're at literally within the last day or so. Fast forward to this. Stellar also has this update. They highlight Archax. I remember covering Archax a few times. Shout out to Pierre. If you happen to be here, you sent me that Patreon chat about the whole thing of Archax. We know about Archax and even Hedera. I've done at least 3 or 4 videos on Archax. I don't know if Rue has too, but nonetheless, there's Archax. But here's what's interesting. It's the posting. June 17th. Look at this for a second. Introducing Govy. It's a tokenized perpetual U.S. Treasury bill product designed to align with high-quality liquid assets. And here's the real kicker. Rob, you can even chime in on this if you want, or Rue. We just did a collab with Scott of Longview Compute. And what was one of the things we discussed in regard to Quant, Canton, and this overlap with HQLAX. Right there, you have that. And it mentions, for example, you're going to have short-dated U.S. Treasury bills. So this is all built on Archax. More importantly, actually, technically speaking, the infrastructure from Stellar. And more importantly, it says here, the tokenization is going to include 24/7 availability and instant settlement with direct legal ownership of the underlying assets and regulated custody. So with all this fear going on, with what we talked about at the very, very beginning of the show of the Tether problem, and of course, would USAT, as in the regulated Tether, be the answer moving forward? I don't have the answer for that. We see things like this. Tad bit more. This was initially available to non-US investors, and it launched on Ethereum, Hedera, and Stellar. Govy represents another important step in bringing traditional financial assets on chain through regulated infrastructure. And we just talked about that at the very beginning. So to me, it seems as though both Canton and especially Stellar are tapping into this whole thing of UST bills, and more importantly, trying to make this bridge to bring in a ton of liquidity from Wall Street and again, bridge it through some of these ones with RWAs, et cetera, et cetera. Again, to me, this is important for us as an XLM holders, because when you look into XLM, again, what's going to be important? XLM would be the gas in this case, right? Bottom line, it's regulated. It's a high quality financial product that is in fact choosing Stellar, and again, as one of its homes. With mass adoption, this would be an absolute big deal. And before I kick it over to you guys, I just want to get into this XRP update just real quick. I understand a lot of people don't like seeing celebrities and in the mix, because we had a really bad experience obviously with FTX, but Ripple also posted. Huh?
Goodwill Hunting.
Well, yeah. But we have, Matt Damon, if you guys ever seen Team America World Police, like Matt Damon. Anyway, co-founder of Water. Rue, you're so into symbolism. So I want to get into this here in a bit in regard to that, but it says it's coming to Ripple Swell. It's going to happen October 27th to 29th. What connects cross-border payments and clean water. There's so much about this, right? Ripple payments, Water is going to leverage that, right? I don't want to put so much focus on this, but what I do want to put focus on is Rue would do, like he has symbolism Sundays, right? So look at this, Rue. I think you may like this. Maybe you already know about Water. It's this logo right here. All right. So I said to myself, Water has shared a lot of obviously like India and what's going on with BRICS nations. Obviously, India is a BRICS nation. It's literally the I in BRICS. When I saw that, I said, God, where do I recognize this from? What looks similar to this? And I'll make this real quick, okay? A while back in a deep dive with Molt Money, Mr. Man, and Smoke, I shared my unveiling of this website. And if anything, if your mind is drifting, you might want to pay attention right now. It's the website of ISO222.ru. This logo is literally very similar to the Ripple logo. And more importantly, as we jump back, it's very similar to how this is, right? Those symbols, they do hold weight, to say the least. Jumping back to here, you will see that from ISO 222-RU, you have standards and practices of use of ISO 222 international standard in the Russian Federation. Now, there's a lot of talk about XRP and mBridge. I shared a key document on Maximus Crypto that literally mentions by name this terminology that says, quote unquote, basically ripple effects. And above that, in the same paragraph, which I share this with Jesse of Apex Crypto Insights, in that same paragraph from mBridge, it says literally in the same breath, on demand money. What is Ripple's main product? On demand liquidity. All right, two more quick things, okay? And I swear I'll kick it over to these guys, I promise. The ISO 222-RU site has never done another update in quite some time. But here's the kicker. Right here, you have the publication of an album of electronic communications containing orders. Remember how we talked about order books earlier? On February 3rd, 2025, the album of electronic messages containing orders was published on the website of the Bank of Russia. They had a document that was in this accordance of federal law with the Bank of Russia regulations and their systems. There's a lot to unpack here, but it was a unified migration plan for the application of financial messages in the international standard ISO 222 and the national payment system. Now, this may actually cause you to crap your pants. At the same day of February 3rd, 2025, as the saying goes, boil it, mash it, stick it in a stew, the White House posted, look at that date, February 3rd, 2025, on that same time, the dates are the same. That same time, that same day, White House puts out a plan for establishing a United States sovereign wealth fund. You don't say. I don't know. All these things, I find it incredibly interesting. Kick it back over to you guys. That's all I have for you today.
Well, going all the way back to the stellar thing you were talking, the stellar topic you were talking about in liquidity, that's something that, Rue and I have had many on-camera conversations about, is that so many people talk about catalysts and, the Clarity Act and all this stuff that's going to pump crypto. And at the end of the day, it goes right back to what you were talking about, Max. Liquidity is what's going to pump crypto. It's not some magical catalyst. It's not some magical government, bill that's going to pass. It's liquidity that's going to pump your bags.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And we've all been pretty much in unison about that. Those are the major driving factors of whatever project you're in. I mean, again, we're really focused on utility here, right? That's a given. but we say this before, it could even be a meme project. If you have liquidity coming into your meme, that is a bigger catalyst than any type of partnership or you name it. Again, it's onboarding real people with real money coming into your space. It's literally that simple. So again, I cannot put enough emphasis on this, that when people talk about Project Enbridge, I think it was actually with you, bro. It was you and Scott. One of the comments was, XRP, you guys' thoughts on Enbridge, is it going to be a threat to XRP? My answer is no. It's not going to be a threat to it, because basically speaking, when you look at the BIS document, it's as if, excuse me, they're playing games with us, and they have been playing games with us for years. You know, Jesse is right. They changed the name. They go from institutional regulated internet of value to the internet of value to we're building the internet of value to enabling the internet of value. And it's just like it just absolutely will make your head spin. So again, in that document from the central bank of central banks, to see a recent thing about on-demand money, I just think that's something. And I know I can't stop shutting up about it, but with real clarity, I think we will finally see the order books, right? Because we just referenced in the order book, right? I think we'll see the order books do some things, and that's what gets me excited, man. And if it ends up being a nothing bird, it's a nothing bird, but I don't think so. I don't.
Now, Max,
think so, man.
can you refresh us on what the project Enbridge is? Because I know you've done videos on it. I know Jesse Apex has done videos on it. Can you refresh the crowd on what Project Enbridge is?
Well,
before you do that really quick, I just want to address these super chats, and then we can do that. Chris says, hello, gentlemen. Do you think XDC can hit $1? If HBAR can hit $2, XLM can hit $10, and Banker can hit 3 cents. Wow, that's a lot. For me, XDC, what even is the price of XDC right now? Is it like 3 cents or something?
Yeah, 3 cents.
Sometimes it's right under 3 cents, give or take. Sometimes it kind of hovers above 3.
So I'm going to say no, not this cycle for XDC. Not this cycle. I want to emphasize that. HBAR to $2. I could see HBAR hitting $2.
Where's that one at?
HBAR, it's like 8 or 9 cents right now.
Well, no, 8. Yeah, 8 or 9. 8 or 9.
So, but they got their spot ETF going on that could pick up. They're moving into the RWA space. So they are doing things. HBAR definitely has potential, in my opinion. I could see $2. XLM to $10 from here this cycle? I don't think so.
Agreed. Or like 5.
And Banker to 3 cents. What is Banker right now? 304. Not this cycle. Maybe a penny. Maybe you can get just below a penny. 207, 208 for Banker. Maybe 3 cents from 30. I mean, it's been done before. But you know, if I could get to 207, 208 from where it is now, I personally would be taking profits, not financial advice. So,
yeah, to answer the question, so for me, XDC, could it hit some crazy numbers in the future, right? It's going to be a very, very long-term hold. I have XDC, part of my top 5. I think I literally have that at number 4, tied with HBAR. But anyway, and then, XLM, I'll have to wait and see what goes on with that, to say the least. I know you're reading some more super chats before I answer that question.
Oh, sorry. I thought you read it. There you go.
Hello, gentlemen. Oh yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much in alignment with some of these guys on some of that. I have HBAR a lot higher than 2, but again, I don't know necessarily if it happens in this cycle, but so these ones you're talking about, these are my extremely long-term holds, to say the least. So, yeah. Banker, I had to study up more on Banker personally. I know that Jetpack sends a lot of tweets about that and so on, but and he points out things like Banker really does a lot of what like he says Ripple doesn't do, and hey, it is what it is. I understand you're trying to bring awareness to it, but I would have to study up more about that. So I would not even remotely give an educated prediction on some of that. For the most part, I don't give a lot of price predictions, period. It could really, like, moving forward, there's a lot of people they'll do the blame game, and then if it doesn't reach a certain price that you were hoping, then immediately they go back and they point fingers and whatnot. I've seen that
I,
too many times.
I
So,
got that so much in the last cycle. People would ask me, not I know it's not financial advice, Rob, but can you tell me where you think X project is going to go? And say, I could see it going here, and then it doesn't go there. You son of a! You lied to me. You said,
yeah, exactly. So it's like,
You
you know,
motherfuckers. But yeah, I agree with Rob's assessment on those. Like, I like what he said there. Well, the whole thing about water, if I can just go to that a little bit and what that shape looks like an infinity symbol to me, and very funny. Ben, hey, yeah, I've heard of water. Wow. I love it, bro. I love your sense of humor. But yeah, the infinity sign, right? Of course, symbolizes the Aurora Boreals, the number 8, kind of a lazy 8 laid on its side, right? Could be this old system changing into the new. And of course, also hourglasses are kind of symbolized by that same type of shape. But check out the episode that me and Max and the Coin Vault did. XRP 589, Zebec 511, or no, 515, excuse me, 515, 515. So in it, I played a clip from Jordan Maxwell, and he breaks down how money is water. Money is water, liquidity, fiscal year, like money has a lot of similarities to water. So it's not even a guess or a coincidence where you hear these things ripple, you hear swell, you hear,
yeah, I mean, literally,
water. Yeah. Right. It's not even a coincidence. You look at Swift Blockchain's logo, they have a drop of water in the that peacock or dove or whatever you want to call that bird. So money is very much related to water, very much related to time.
that's not a celebrity. That's Jason Bourne.
right?
Good old. Here, I like this one from Jetpack. Zebec equals ODP on demand pay. Yes.
Yeah, that's one thing that we used to say, right? You know, we said we should start referring to Zebec as on-demand payroll. Yep. You know, if you have on-demand liquidity, Zebec is on-demand payroll. I still don't know why that's not a more of a widespread thing, but you know, it is what it is. I at least want to answer this real quick because you were asking about this, and I think we probably should wrap it up because you probably got like a little kiddo that needs to be put to bed or something, right?
Yeah. Marcus says, new phone, who dis? Go ahead, Max.
Oh, no problem, no problem. So again, just to answer your question, I mean, obviously, you know, we're talking about like the central bank of central banks. So anything that's BIS related, whether it's Project Enbridge, I mean, this involves basically many different CBDCs. Like, you know, Enbridge is to multiple CBDCs. So instead of just like one project that's tied to central banks, you have many of these CBDCs. Again, Enbridge, like multi-bridge. Okay. You have China, you have Hong Kong, you have Thailand. I know that you studied a lot in regard to like the United Arab Emirates, UAE, Saudi Arabia. But anyway, it's just like what XRP is looking to do. They're looking to create, you know, a fast, cheap, like way to send money, to say the least, right? In simple terms, like layman's terms, some people just want the layman's terms. Again, just kind of like an XRP, right? Instead of having like a slow middleman, right? In this case, like your Swift or whatnot, like traditional banks, it just, again, kind of like XRP, is supposed to let banks instantly exchange digital versions of money, right, with their national currencies. But in this case, obviously with CBDCs. You know, some people are like, geez, Enbridge is literally everything what XRP is trying to do. And then they think that basically because it exists, that if that does exist, then there's no real use case for XRP. But for me, literally, again, that's why I'm using that reference. I'm like, Enbridge technology is literally with Ripple, with XRP. I don't know if most people are going to say I'm wrong. I don't really care. but I've done more than enough deep dives to show evidence that, look, they are literally playing games with you. Why would they use the term on demand money? We know about people that are with the IMF, the BIS. We've seen them in literally the same rooms as as your Ripples. We've seen Brad Garlinghouse. I mean, there's so many. We could talk about this probably for like 10 hours. I'm not going to, but that's what it is in simple terms. People see that, they're like, by definition, Project Enbridge seems like it's the same use case of XRP, but from the central banks. So I don't know if that really answers it all the way, but so people call it like a new highway system, but from the Swiss banks, to say the least.
Longview in the house. He says, you know what I bought today? What? No green screens tonight? Max had his green screen when we were live yesterday over on Scott's channel, Longview Compute.
I would probably just remove my green screen and all that, but I mean, my best friend's dad, he lives here. I love him like family. You don't want to get distracted with a guy walking around in the background. So anyway.
Says, Smitty says, Crux is a good-looking dude. Love his contributions to the discussion. Someone's got a fan. Someone's got a super fan. Absolutely, man. Crux is the man. Do you think stuff like 402s and stuff like what Zebec is doing with IBANs?
Yep, XR402 and myself and Rue have covered a lot about that. Obviously, you know about that, Jetpack. But I mean, obviously we talk about the overlap here. I mean, we shared quant integrations. I mean, we've shown Canton examples. X402 is going to be already is, I should say. It's going to be a big juggernaut.
I know Zebec just shared something with the IBANs, the virtual IBANs. Max, I remember you talking about a project with some IBANs back in the day. You remember what project that was?
I know about the specific project, but I did cover a piece on it in regard to Quant Network and IBANs. And then the reason why that was important is because, like, even for central bankers, it had to do with like each central banker and IBANs. I don't know. I had to dig up some of that stuff. Some of it's kind of exhausting because it's like, I expect you to know exactly what you said at 3:04 p.m. I remember back in time, June 17th, 1979. It was my first time. You guys know, that's hip hop, man. Anyway.
Well, for people who might be out of the loop with that, Zebec, Simon Babakani on the Paul Barron show, he said that the Super Rep would basically have these virtual bank accounts where they could basically use stable coins from any different location, right? Because of these virtual bank accounts. And Paul Barron was kind of like amazed. He's like, oh, is that going to be available in the US? And Simon said, yeah, it will be available in the US. So that's going to be pretty amazing that what that seems like to me that would enable is that anyone using the enterprise app could pay anyone in any location. So American companies could pay anyone in any location. They can hire an engineer in like freaking Dubai, Indonesia, Russia, China, it doesn't matter. They can pay them with the virtual IBAN.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. He did way better than I could.
Longview says, I'm playing on. Oh, we absolutely, Scott. Absolutely, man. Good to see you here, brother. So I just wanted to give a shout out to make sure you're subscribed at Longview Compute as well, guys. Get over there and do that. Speaking of which, also make sure you are subscribed to the Crux of Crypto. My guy, always popping in with us. It's always awesome to have you here, man. I love our collaborations. Guys, 6.26K subs is unacceptable behavior, as I always say. Get over there. Let's get him to 10K subs. He deserves it. Check out some of his latest and greatest. I'm betting everything on Caspa unless it makes this one mistake. What's the mistake? You're going to have to watch the video to find out, guys. XRP versus Solana. Perps launched. Zebec covers everything, man. Kita, absolutely. Zcash versus Monero. What's the latest you were talking about earlier, Crux? What you got coming out in the next few days? what do you have coming out again for those who were not here when you talked about it?
Yeah, so Cardano, I was pretty that video over there. It's called Millionaires. I talk pretty roughly about Cardano in that video, and I wanted to give a further extension on what I meant by it. So next week I'll be dropping a Cardano video. I'll also be dropping a Caspa versus Cardano video, and that's in preparation of the June 30th Takata hard fork that will launch for Caspa. So I try, like, at the banner up there, it says the best deep dives in crypto. So I'm trying to keep this channel like not maxi, like no maxis are allowed essentially. Like if you scroll down, you'll see like all of these different projects, and that's what I want to do. I want to just teach the world about cryptocurrency, and I don't know. You see Aave, Kita, Zebec, all these different projects. So that's what I like to do, is I just teach the world about crypto.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We actually should get together and do another collab just before the upgrade comes out. Maybe we can talk about what we can expect to see, right?
Definitely, for sure.
So yeah, make sure you guys shoot him a sub over there, guys. As I said before, unacceptable behavior. Let's get him to 10,000 subs. Let's break that milestone so the algorithm picks it up, pushes it out, because he drops real alpha that's important for people to be finding out about. So, and make sure you're liked and subscribed on all of our channels as well. Closing thoughts, guys. Anything you'd like to leave us with? Elon Musk, by the way, no maxis allowed. Drops in the chat finally. Good to see you, buddy.
You're late.
50 push-ups.
50. Yeah.
Oh,
There it is.
Whether he's late or not, I always love seeing old crypto Mike, Elon Musk. Anyway.
Old.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Do you know that he is technically older than me?
I wonder what Mike's gonna say.
Well, it is. He's I think he was it December or something like that, Mike? I know 1980. I'm May 12th, 1981. So yeah, old Mike. Yeah.
You're just gonna dox his age like that, huh?
You guys don't know what he looks like. I mean, what is somebody going to say? I always find, okay, can we just say this real quick? You want closing thoughts? I'll give you some closing thoughts. I find it hilarious when you see people that come into these spaces that especially have the faceless channels, and they're like, their name is, I don't know, let's call him
Elon
Booty Man. All right. Oh, I watch Booty Man's live stream. Okay, what does Booty Man look like? Where's Booty Man from? He might have mentioned that he lives in Oklahoma. All right, what did Booty Man cover? Well, Booty Man covered, Shiba Inu and Doge, and he was talking about, proof of work with Caspa. But he told me it's not financial advice. Okay, so how would that be with a lawyer? What are you going to say to the lawyer? Oh, Booty Man told me to buy this one particular token. Who the heck is Booty Man? I mean, come on, man. So, I mean, you guys are going to be like, oh, Elon Musk told me to buy the Muff token? Give me a break,
He says he's been here the whole time.
Back like he never left.
Yeah.
Because he never left.
Crux, you got some closing thoughts, my friend?
Hodl on. So continue to accumulate. We're sitting around the 200-day moving average, or 200-week moving average. So, at these prices, this is a blessing in disguise. And these next 3 months, you should be working double time. You should not be sleeping. Accumulate. Every dollar you make, $30. That's how you have to mentally think about it, and you will win in this market.
Yeah,
I take your word for that. You have one, bro.
Yeah,
you have one.
I got
I
a good amount of crypto, so yeah.
But just tell him real quick, Rob. Did I not? You could tell on me. Did I not say, man, this guy is something else? Like, he doesn't even have his super chats on his channel. He doesn't click the switch to literally have any monetization. This guy literally just loves covering this. I mean, if that doesn't get him subs, I don't know what would. Can you imagine somebody so enthusiastic that he just naturally wants to talk about whether he makes money on his YouTube channel or not? Unbelievable.
No, he was totally burying you, man. He's like, screw that guy. I hate that guy. No, just kidding.
Right?
He's totally saying that, yeah.
Oh,
absolutely he was, yeah. Closing thoughts, Crux? What do you got, man? Besides that, is that it? Is that all? Hodl?
Also, stay healthy, and just like I said earlier, don't wait till 2029. That is a dream. It's 4 years from now, or 3 years. Enjoy today.
You can get hit by a bus tomorrow.
Right.
You're not ending the stream without highlighting this comment before you get the real. Well, no, you're not doing it. You're going to go click on Elon Musk's comment right now from 7:41 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And what does that say right there, Rob? What does that say right there? No, above that. Aha. Yeah, so, yes, he voluntarily docks his age because nobody in the right mind is going to be like, oh, I know exactly how old Elon Musk is. They're going to be like, who the heck is Elon Musk?
Yeah.
Everybody knows Elon Musk, of course. Happy belated birthday, Max. Another Taurus in the house.
Thanks, E. Appreciate it. You know, I always joke around with Rue. I was just like, you know, Rue's Detroit, you the E. Crux is the new kid on the block about to get smacked back to the boondocks. Freaking researcher, your Crux ain't my type. So form a, you know, take some not financial advice, but form a group with you know, some of these guys are saying that crypto is going to zero.
Vanilla Ice. That's what I thought.
Vanilla Ice. You know. And what I tell you, you better use it. This is real utility, not hilly-billy music.
Something like that. A group with Ice Spice.
Right, there you go. I don't know. This is so bad. We're getting all goofy. Hey, right. Sublimes, good to see you, Dina. Appreciate you being here.
Purple Rain with the super chat says, evening fam. Got some dips on both ZBCN and Quant. Let's go. Nice. Longview says, I went Vanilla Ice too.
Yeah, that's something that Scott's right. Recently learning. Like you'll see me say something random with some rhyme, and he'd be like, I want whatever he's smoking. Like he's kind of caught off the wall. He hasn't, you know, really got to know me yet, but that's all good. So,
Rue, what do you got for us, buddy? Final thoughts?
Hey, in the words of Oakland rapper Sugar Free, do you have the stomach? Do you have the stomach to delay gratification? Hold on. Like my man Crux there said, it's going to be a great 3 months coming up here. We might get clarity. Kevin Roche is in the field here. America's 250th birthday. Like, there may be things that go down here. So, hey, do you have the stomach to grab and hold and wait for a nice 2027?
Thanks for the birthday wishes, you guys. I see it in the comments, like Sweet Auntie, Sublimes. All you guys really do appreciate that. I know we got to wrap it up and we got to get going. I just want to state real quick. What was it, Scott? Right. So when you first got exposed to Elon Musk in the comments, you're like, that name is awesome. Well, Scott just posted, right before we wrap this up. Scott says in the comments, I don't know if you could pull it up. He says something about ADHD. Where's that comment? Oh, I see it. You don't know my ADHD, Max. So ironically, we're talking about Elon Musk. Elon Musk also has ADHD. And here's my thoughts on ADHD, right? So when I used to teach, I would tell my 5th and 6th graders, you know, there's quite a few of them that had ADHD. And they're like, Mr. Stanley, like, my God, you know, is ADHD such a bad thing? And the world's telling me that ADHD is a bad thing. I would tell them all this. And I even told Elon Musk this. I said, I think that ADHD actually is a blessing. Some of the most successful people in this world have it. I mean, look at Elon Musk. Look at the real OG, Elon Musk, whether people like it or not. He has ADHD. I've seen so many people that like unbelievable. Like they're the most like gung-ho, hardworking people, smart people. So I would just tell them, I'm like, you know what? You have a blessing. And that's just my policy on it, man. So don't run away from your ADHD.
Yeah, my final thoughts are simply this, guys. There are two types of people who are here in the crypto space right now. Those who are going to be successful and those who are going to sell too soon, right? They're gonna get shaken out. So really, you have to decide right now. You've won half the battle just by being here and DCing into crypto at these prices at the bottom range of a bear market. Half the battle's already won for you. But there's going to be a large percentage of people who lose that second half of the battle because we have a long journey. If we are in the bottom range of this bear market, that means that we are officially beginning the bull run after you bottom. And we're going to have a lot of flash crashes along the way, probably 8 or 9 of them throughout the course of the next couple of years, right? So what you have to ask yourself rhetorically, do you have what it takes to withstand it all and be patient? Or are you going to emotionally be shaken out? It's up to you.
100%. That's a good thing to leave off on. Guys, do us a solid after the stream ends, not while it's in here because it won't count. When the stream ends, go to the comments of our channels if you wish and simply type in G.I. Joe because apparently with what Rob was talking about, right? You know?
Like, and definitely also hype the videos on our channel. That really helps pass it around.
It does. You can't do it on the live, but on the recorded, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We appreciate you guys. I know we kind of kept this going, but we do appreciate you guys. Thank you for spending time with us. We understand that you could have watched so many other channels right out there, but you chose to spend time with us. You don't think that doesn't mean the world to us? It means the world to us. It really, truly does. Thank you.
Little Jay-Z for you. You could be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me. I appreciate that. Little hoba. All right, guys.
Oh.
Take care. We'll see you guys in the next one. God bless.
Peace.
God bless.
Peace.
He said it. He said peace. Yes.
I know.